Elvis Presley dated a lot of different starlets in his career, but none really more famous at the time than Natalie Wood. It was 1956, and Elvis Presley was about ready to release his film Love Me Tender. He was already on top of the rock and roll world, and he was getting the attention and catching the eyes of everybody in the nation. Natalie Wood had claimed that she saw his picture in the paper before he really got very big, and she loved his eyes, and she said, "I just had to go out with him." She also said he's really great and the most totally real boy I've ever met. He's a real pixie and has a wonderful little boy quality. He's very courteous and polite and so sweet. He's the nicest boy I know, a wonderful dancer, and he sings all the time to me. All the girls in the country are in love with him, so why should I be any different? Natalie Wood was getting famous in her own right. She had actually just won a Golden Globe Award for Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean. So the pairing made total sense. You had the most famous rock and roller and soon-to-be movie star Elvis, and then you had Natalie Wood, who was an actress on her way up. But when she flew back to Memphis to meet the family because things were getting serious, Gladys didn't like her. And the reason why Gladys didn't like her is she thought that Natalie was a gold digger, and she really didn't like the fact that Natalie was pretty much almost naked in the house. She was wearing a see-through sheer nightgown, and you know, Gladys was very old-fashioned. This is the South, and here you have this Hollywood starlet who, you know, by all accounts, was not a innocent girl. She was pretty much a wildcat. And that quality was probably something that did draw Elvis to her. But at the same time, Gladys was not having it. There were a lot of things that Natalie and Elvis got along about. One of those was that he loved to ride his Harley, and she loved to ride that Harley with him. You know, they were both actresses that really wanted to become famous. I mean, Elvis really wanted to be a serious actor, and Natalie Wood already was a serious actress. And she had just got done acting in a movie with one of Elvis's idols, James Dean. So the match did, although it made some sense on paper, and Elvis was head over heels for her, and she was head over heels for Elvis. You know, there was no getting past Gladys, who was very domineering in Elvis's life. And Elvis's, you know, her opinion mattered to Elvis. And since Gladys did not like Natalie Wood, it was done. It was done for. There was no way they were going to survive because she wasn't going to deal with it, and neither was Gladys. So even though we don't have the pairing lasting for very long, we do have that wonderful picture from the Mississippi-Alabama Dairy and Fair show of that shirt, that velvet shirt that Natalie had specially made for Elvis. She had two of them made for Elvis, and he's wearing one of them in this picture. I've never heard of Elvis and Natalie Wood ever getting together again or talking to each other, but Elvis Presley almost took the part of Tony in West Side Story that would have been opposite of Natalie. So this brings me to another point. Obviously, some of you know and some of you don't really know that Natalie Wood was unalived. She was unalived by her husband, Robert Wagner, and it was covered up. By all accounts and purposes, that's really kind of what happened. And she was 43, so right around the same age of Elvis when he died. Now, this happened after Elvis, obviously, because she was younger than Elvis when they met. But can you imagine if they had not broken up at that point in time? You know, she may still be alive. They could still be together. Another interesting thing was that Christopher Walken was on that boat. I Need More Cowbell, Christopher Walken, that guy. And he was kind of part of the cover-up too. They were, you know, he was an up-and-coming actor that was a co-star of Natalie Wood there. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of investigations, and there's no way to go back and prove it. But unfortunately, you know, Natalie met her passing at 43. And as an Elvis fan, it's sad to me because Elvis had true feelings for her, and she had true feelings for Elvis. We've all been in a relationship where our parents did not like who we dated. And you know how difficult that is as a dynamic. Perhaps if Elvis didn't have such a domineering mother who loved him very much, and he loved her so much, and they were that close, they would have stayed together, been a power couple. Elvis would have been a fine actor, she'd have been a fine actress, and maybe it wouldn't have worked out. But certainly she would have not met the end of her life with her husband Robert Wagner and Christopher Walken on that night.